Hello everybody, welcome to the Health and Fitness Show with Tracy. Welcome to my YouTube channel and whatever you're watching or listening to me on. I'm Tracy Markley, fitness specialist, been in the industry for over 30 years. I'm known for my work with balance and training seniors for walking and stabilization, and really big in stroke recovery. I have 15 books I've authored, 5 are on stroke recovery. I have fall prevention, hearing loss books. I have hearing loss and anatomy book, biomechanics, so you want to learn your muscles and what movements they make. This is great for classes. It's used in some college courses, and it's really easy to comprehend whatever age you're at trying to learn muscles. It helps you with sports and just knowing your body. And so there you go. So if you want to know more about me, you can check my website out at www.tracymarkley.com. That's TracyMarkley.com. But if you already know me, you already know all that stuff, but we have to give the intro. So what I'm doing is I'm going to start a series of videos for stroke recovery. So this series of videos is called Stroke Recovery, What Now? And it's based off my book, Stroke Recovery, What Now? When Physical Therapy Ends, but Your Recovery Continues. So I wanted to make a series of videos talking about the different aspects of what I'm trying to teach people and help people with, whether you're in the fitness industry, the healing industry, as in physical therapy, or however you bring professionals work to help stroke survivors, or you're a stroke survivor yourself, or a caregiver. Excuse me. So I wrote this book for stroke survivors. The teachings I teach in the book is for stroke survivors, but it's used through professionals as well. But what I want to do is, like, I'm not going to do the whole book in video, but I'm making a video series about how to help stroke survivors. And I put it all condensed in a book to help people, but I thought I'd follow up the video series to talk more and get a little more out. Sometimes it's easier to listen to people talking than reading a book. And you could get a little more detailed in it as well, because you can ramble and talk. And in some of the videos, I will physically be showing you things in my fitness studio and explaining things that are in the book you don't really get the visuals with. So with Stroke Recovery, What Now? This has come about because somebody has a stroke, or maybe you've had a stroke, or someone you love, or your caregiver, or your coworker, or your family, or someone with, has had a stroke. And some people get great physical therapy, some people get and some people get really bad physical therapy. But sometimes it's obvious you're getting bad therapy. And sometimes you don't know. And I'm not saying people are giving bad therapy all the time. There's a mix. Just like in any profession, you have people that are really good at it. People are just they just show up and do what they need to do and get out. You have people that have their heart in it, and they continue to study and make their work better to bring more to whatever their job is, whatever their work is, whatever the outcome is, what they do in their job. And then you have the people that are like, they're not bad, they're not the best, but they're there. And I'm not trying to judge everybody or categorize everybody, but what I'm trying to teach and help you understand is, say like you went to a physical therapist and they have studied the brain, neurological challenges and brain injury and more advanced work in stroke recovery. Those people are going to probably help you get further in your stroke recovery. And this is with fitness professionals, any profession that's helping you. But if you go to someone who's a physical therapist or personal trainer and just learned the basics to pass their test or get their license, and they never took any advanced training in the brain and stroke recovery and brain damage and movements of the body, advancing education and knowledge and experience in all this, most likely they're going to limit and can't. They either are or they can limit your recovery. And if you heard me speak or read my books or heard some other videos, you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to repeat this again. And this has to do with every movement. For example, you're trying to walk You want to move your legs better. You want to walk. And two different things. Maybe you're in a wheelchair and you want to be able to stand up and walk, or you're already walking, but you have a foot turnout or foot drop, or you're very unstable. If somebody's working with you does not understand what muscles stabilize your body, stabilize your spine, stabilize your hips, stabilize your pelvic, stabilize your core, what muscles stabilize your shoulder in proper position according with your core and your pelvic stabilization, because it all works together, how are they going to help you get your body movement back? For example, foot turnout. You have your foot and it drops or it turns out. So you have things going on in the foot and the leg, but if your hip is turned, and I'm going to show you more videos as we go along. I will be in the physical aspects of showing you this. If your foot is turned out, your hip joint and where your leg, your femur comes into your hip joint, is also turned out. So if nobody's working on the center of the body, the core of the body, stabilizing the hips, so the hips and the hip joints and the femur can be lined up properly, how are they going to help you get your foot drop and your walking gait back? It all works together. And I know people say the core, and I know years ago when the core words came out, it seemed like a fad. And it's not a fad. Think of a tree. You have the tree trunk. If the tree trunk is solid and strong, the branches are going to be solid and strong. And then if it's growing fruit on it, if it's like a fruit tree, like an apple tree or something, an orange tree, it's going to be able to sustain and hold more of that fruit and not fall over and be blown over by the wind if the wind comes through, because it's a strong, stable, rooted tree and the trunk is strong. The trunk's not weak like this. So if the middle of the body is weak and you can't even hold that up to good posture, you won't be able to have stable hips, stable pelvic, stable legs, or stable joints for your shoulder joints and muscles and rotator cuff and everything that stabilizes your shoulder joint in place to get movements back up here. So it all works together. And sometimes just the basic training we get in school isn't enough to bring someone to more advanced strength and the things they need, whether, wherever they're advancing in their training for fitness or physical therapy, basically making your body stronger in the needs that it needs. I think you guys know what I mean. So in this series, I'm going to bring more of that, and I would like to make a couple videos a week and get this out. I'll see how that works. One a week for sure, but I would like to make them closer so it's a nice pack together, but we will see. Sometimes time interferes or technology interferes and it gets frustrating, and I don't want to make any promises I can't keep. So, but that's my goal, to bring that to you. So stroke recovery, what now? Okay, you just finished physical therapy, but physical therapy ending does not mean, even if you had the best therapy, if your physical therapy ended because your insurance stopped paying or for whatever reason, or maybe they're like, yeah, we don't think you can go any further, it doesn't mean your recovery is over because you went for 6 months and now it's over, or they only give you so many visits for so many weeks or a year. There's a lot of limitations, and a lot of it's just you're a file and you're a folder. A lot of it is your physical needs. Some may see you're done. So, I mean, it's so much is in that stops people from therapy, but it doesn't mean your recovery is over for most people. So I've worked with several stroke survivors, and I've been with people 3 years after I have their stroke, and they're still making gains. They could be big gains, they could be little gains, but that's when, so when people say, oh, after 6 months, you won't make any recover. After a year, that's all you're going to get. That's not true. I mean, maybe it's true with some brains, but that's not true in most people. And you don't know your limit unless you just keep doing things and continue. If you just do physical therapy and then you just stop, nothing else has the chance to grow or new pathways or a sensation coming back that you didn't know could come back. So I'm doing this series to see if it helps people, to get it out there, and I hope it does. And again, if you haven't, not that it's all based on the book, but I've tried to take all my knowledge and squished it in a book a couple years ago and get it out there, because I was seeing so many people and being contacted with so many family members or stroke survivors that had bad care. Again, I'm not putting down people out there, but for instance, okay, I'll tell you this story. And again, if you've talked to me or know me, you may have heard this story. I was living in a small town, and they didn't have a stroke support group in the town. And anyone that had a stroke to go to stroke support group, they had to drive almost an hour and a half away to a bigger city to their stroke support group at that hospital. But it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's Oregon, 1-lane highways. I mean, most stroke survivors are fatigued all the time. And doing something at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with an hour and a half drive, with a caregiver driving or you're driving, wherever level is going on, it's exhausting. That's what I thought too. It's exhausting. And if it's rainy weather or you have to worry about the ice in the road, everything just seemed, why don't we have one here in town? I don't understand it. So I talked to the physical therapist in town, and we decided we'd do it. But they kept making me wait and wait and wait and wait. And here it is months later. And to me, I don't understand, why is it waiting so long? Just do it. So I had a client who was early 80s or just turning 80. I can't remember his exact age at this moment. I want to say he's 82. Trained him for a long time. I met him after his stroke. Probably knew him 6, 7 years when I was in Oregon. Yeah, about 6, 7 years. And we've been working together and balance and walking and all the kinds of things. And he was already walking, but he had a cane, but we worked on his balance and strengthening him and so forth. He wasn't in the super fragile, just had a stroke period when I met him. I met him years after, a couple years after, I think a year and a half after possibly. Anyway, long story short, we were talking a lot about, why don't they have this stroke support group in town? And he was like, I want one here too. So that's when I started trying to get this going. So I think I just published my book on my spine, The Power of Your Spine, the first version of it. And he was training with me, and he was looking at the book, and he said this to me: you are so lucky. You have a purpose in life. I don't have a purpose in life anymore. And it made me so sad for him. And I said, you know what? Let's just start that support group now ourselves. Let's just make it happen. Because he was real excited to get that going. He wanted to be a part of it. He wanted to sit there with me. He wanted to be there, part of it with me. I said, let's just do it. Let's stop waiting for these people. You're going to be there with me. So I reached out to the physical therapist, the head physical therapist, and I told him, we're just going to start it because I don't understand why you're waiting so long. So we went and met for coffee somewhere, and he said, well, this is the thing. Well, first, he tried to tell me that after the first 6 months, nobody gets any recovery anyway. And I thought, wow, he's so wrong. He's so wrong. And he was leading the physical therapy place. And it kind of like, wow, that's not cool. How many people are limited because they listen to him? And that's just because he didn't advance his education. He didn't take advanced things. It's like if you're a doctor and you want to become a brain surgeon, you don't just become one because you call yourself one. You have to go and do the advanced training and knowledge and education and what's needed for that. And you can't just call yourself something if you haven't taken the advanced stuff. But a lot of professionals out there, they don't let you know that. So if you go to a personal trainer, anybody can write a card, I'm a specialist in this, but what made them that specialist? Do they really have the extra certifications, the extra education, extra experience? Do they have it? Or do they just call themselves that one day so you believe them? That's why it's good to look at people's certifications, what's advanced education. Have these conversations. So when you look at some of the knowledge I have in the books and things I teach in my videos, if you go to someone and they don't know certain muscles that you've learned, they don't have advanced things to work with you. So back to meeting for coffee. So what he told me when we were talking, I said, well, we're just going to start it. We need to do this. He said, well, to be honest with you, nobody in town right now as physical therapist has any advanced education in stroke recovery. And I think that sucked for the people there, because a lot of people just assume all physical therapists know everything. All personal trainers know everything. You don't. It's just like the doctors. If you're a brain surgeon, you're not gonna go rebuild a knee. You have your niches, and you train in something. And some people, maybe they can do both. It depends, but you can't just do one and say, well, yeah, I do that too, when you don't. It looks good maybe in writing on paper or cards, or somebody gives a flyer at the gyms or something, but they don't really have it. But some do, and some do. I'm not trying to say they're not out there. But like I'm saying, with a physical therapist, she's just an example that if you went to a physical therapist and you have no idea if they took, advanced weekend certification on stroke recovery, or if they've went and listened to lectures under a neuroscientist, things like I've done, or just advanced education, all this kind of stuff to just, so you can help your clients the max that you can. Most people don't know when they go to physical therapy that they may be having somebody who did not have more advanced education in what they need help with. So that's what made me write the book. That's what made me start doing videos. And that also led me to a course to the fitness industry to help train the fitness industry in it. So that's why I wanted to do this. So if you have had therapy, and I may have started a story and forgot to finish it because I go. So I want you guys to understand this. You may be able to continue your therapy and still get more advanced things you never knew. Like if you read my book, The Stroke from the Artist, The Journey of Fitness Trainer, Stroke Survivor, he was my first book. He was my stroke survivor. That was just such an amazing story in his journey that he said, I want to share my journey. I want to help people. If it only helps one person, that person is worth it. So, we got the book out there, and that led to everything else. But for example, one thing with him, and again, you may know the story. So we got to the point, like I met him when he was in a walker, but we got to the point he was standing on Bosu balls. He could do a plank, and he would do planks holding, the Bosu ball. Bosu ball is the round dome. You'll see him. You're going to see things in the videos, and I'll be sharing things. And he would hold the edge of the Bosu ball. And this is 2.5 years after stroke, maybe. Was it that far along? All of a sudden he goes, oh, I can feel my hand. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, I used to know I'm touching this, but I didn't feel touching. Like for, here's my coffee cup. I'm holding it, but he didn't feel himself holding it. He just knew he was holding it. He was able to hold it, but he didn't feel the cup in his hand. He didn't feel things. So I took him over by the desk. We had some ice water and stuff, and I gave him ice water out of the little refrigerator thing. And he goes, I can feel the cold. So he never told me that he was missing that sensation. I didn't know. He never said, I can't feel this. He just did his thing. And then all of a sudden, one day, over 2 years after his stroke, he's with me working out, and his sensation came back. That's an example of things that we don't even know what can come back. We weren't working on, we need to get that sensation for him to feel hot and cold in his hand. We weren't specifically doing that. I didn't know he didn't have it. He never told me. He was able to hold on to things and lift, in time, he was able to hold weight in his hand and do bicep curls and do the, weights and classes. And he did the Pilates classes with me. And, so I was shocked by both stories. One, you never told me that. And two, that he got it back. And it wasn't something we were focusing on. It just happened as he's doing everything else. So that's the thing. As we go through this series of videos, I want you to understand is you may have something coming back that you didn't even know was going to, just like that. And also, around, what time was it with him? It was a few months after that. I know he had numbness in his legs. I mean, not so bad that he couldn't walk, but he had spots where he had numbness. You know, some people you get numb spots and you can't really feel it. You know your face is there, but you're not feeling yourself poke it. You know, a lot of stroke survivors may have that on their arm or on their leg or in parts of their body. So he was doing some of his balance exercises and his proprioception and spatial awareness, where we're working on the Bosu balls. He was standing on it. And he went, oh my God, I just got the feeling back on my leg. Just like that. He was a great learning client to be with. It was a magical journey of awareness and how the body works. Because you hear about it and you read about it, but when you actually see it, it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. Anyway, so that was a long time after his stroke. I mean, a couple of years. And it was amazing. And he was so aware. So in some of the videos, I'm going to talk about communication, how communication is essential, because little things like that, him telling me, help me know, okay, that leg's waking up. Let's go work on the leg more. Or that hand's waking up. It's feeling things again. Let's go work on that more. So when you see the video, one of the videos in the series that's saying communication is essential, that's what we'll be talking about. How coming into your trainer or your therapist and saying, I don't know why, but I'm feeling the tip of my finger, or my thumb was twitching yesterday. That means, in my world, that means your brain's trying to wake that hand up. Let's go work more. Let's start adding more hand exercises. So awareness of paying attention, and maybe a caregiver, your wife or your husband or someone around you, if you're lucky enough to have somebody. I know some people are alone, and I don't want to ever leave that out. I know how that is. I've gone through injuries and things and hard times in life, and I didn't have the people there, so I know how it feels not to have someone there with you all the time. But I had a client come in, I shared that in the last video too. She said my husband's thumb was like tweaking in his sleep, like that's new. I never seen that happen before. That was after we were working together for a few weeks. So we started adding more things on the hand. So paying attention to those kind of things and telling whoever's working with you those kind of things, if they are aware and knowledgeable, they will know. They won't just go, oh, that's great, and then continue with their same routine. They will start, following the brain. A lot of time in stroke recovery, the brain is leading. Well, the brain is leading, but if you have a way that you can be, I was able to take a jar off better yesterday, or just anything. Any little thing that you may think is so little, it means nothing, can be huge. So always tell who you're working with and pay attention to that stuff. Or maybe you start hearing better out of your ear, or you're looking a little better from a peripheral vision. Any little progress you get, share with your people. So I'm going to get into all that in the videos, but I wanted to introduce that this is coming, and I will have the first video out in a couple days, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. And yeah, so I hope you will watch this series. I hope you will gain greater recovery in your stroke recovery journey. Again, you never know how far you're going to get. And yes, some people have great limits, and some people break through the great limits, and some people don't. And you never know, is it my brain? Is it the care around me? And sometimes people think it is the brain. This is the big point of this. If you had a therapist or someone who didn't have the knowledge to push you through things, or the greater things to help you, like I've been talking about, they may have limited your stroke recovery, but you think it's your brain, because they may have said, yeah, the insurance says you don't have any further to go. You've met your max in your recovery. But maybe you needed an extra 3 months to get a recovery, when the other client who has stroke recovery and the therapy people got theirs back quicker. Some people's brains take longer to get something back. And sometimes insurance companies, and how they all work together with the therapist, they put limits. Well, it's been 6 months. They're not getting any better. But maybe you needed 7 months. Maybe you needed 10. Maybe you needed a year and a half. You don't know. They don't know. That is your brain. in the progress. Some come back quicker, some come back better, some come back slower, some only come back a little bit. You don't know. And it sucks. It's frustrating. It's not like you break your leg and they know, oh, the bones heal in about this many months, and everyone kind of falls close to that category. It's not the same thing with the brain. It's not the same thing, and it's just hard. And so anything I could do in my videos or my books or my lectures to help anybody somehow, I want to do it, because I want to share what I have. Just like my Gary in my first book, he said, if this book or my story journey only helps one person, that one person is worth it. So that's how I am with what I'm teaching too. Would I share it? If it only helps one of you, then you're worth it. So be strong, watch the videos, and share with me in comments of videos, things working, things not working, ask questions. I'm trying to help the best I can. And again, Tracy Markley, www.tracymarkley.com. I have all my books in Amazon, amazon.com/author/Tracy Markley. You can go to my website and see all my links and everything. And yeah, see you soon in the videos. Have a great day, and drink your water. Hydrate that healing brain. It is important, and you've probably heard me talk about it. I've a few videos about it. Go watch them right now. And through this series, we'll go into more of this as well. Bye, you guys.